Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin with the situation in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, where our Kashmiri brothers and sisters continue to be tormented by a brutal military siege for over 26 months now. India's naked state terrorism in IIOJK has exposed its real face to the world. In an environment of complete impunity, communication blackout, and absence of international access, systematic violations of human rights are taking place with increasing number of arbitrary arrests and detentions and extrajudicial killings. During the last week alone, 10 innocent Kashmiris have been martyred in fake encounters and so-called cordon and search operations. A Kashmiri civilian was taken into custody and then brutally murdered in a fake encounter in Bandipora. It is reprehensible that even mortal remains are not being returned to the families and proper burials are being denied. Kashmiri youth are the main target of India's repression. We have strongly condemned the arrest of over 1,400 Kashmiris on false charges in one of the biggest ever crackdowns in IIOJK. This is a serious concern for the international community. India has simultaneously stepped up its nefarious smear campaign against Pakistan and Kashmiris. For example, the baseless allegations of so-called infiltrations across the LOC and fake arms recovery operations. Also, allegations surrounding the arrest of alleged Pakistanis in IIOJK and India have no takers, as these are part of India's well-known efforts to divert the world attention from its egregious violations of human rights and illegal actions in IIOJK and well-documented oppression of Muslims and other minorities in India. India would be well advised to stop peddling falsehood and change its behavior that could otherwise further undermine regional peace and security. A case in point is the recent irresponsible and provocative statement reportedly made by the Indian Home Minister threatening so-called surgical strikes. As you are aware, we have condemned this delusional statement that only goes to further demonstrate the RSS BJP combines propensity to stoke regional tensions for both ideological reasons and political expediency based on enmity towards Pakistan. Pakistan has repeatedly drawn the attention of the international community to India's sinister designs of staging false flag operations to implicate Pakistan and Kashmiris. Let me reiterate that while Pakistan is a peace-loving country, we will spare no effort in resolutely thwarting any aggressive Indian designs, as was evident from Pakistan's swift response to India's Balakot misadventure in 2019, including the downing of Indian combat aircraft and capture of Indian Air Force pilot. Pakistan continues to urge the international community to hold India accountable for its egregious human rights violations in IIOJK and its persecution of minorities elsewhere. We welcome the recent statements by OIC Secretary General on the treatment of Muslims in Assam and the IPHRC's call for accountability for increasing Islamophobia and systematic and targeted violence and mob attacks against Muslims in India. Let me reiterate also that Pakistan will continue to provide all possible support to the Kashmiri people in their legitimate struggle for self-determination. Pakistan's principled position on the Jammu and Kashmir dispute remains anchored in the relevant UN Security Council resolutions. We are firmly committed to the resolution of the Jammu and Kashmir dispute through free and impartial plebiscite under the UN auspices as enshrined in the UN Security Council resolutions. Now, coming to the situation in Afghanistan, Pakistan has repeatedly underlined its commitment to a peaceful, stable, and sovereign Afghanistan that is also in the best interest of the region and the world as a whole. Peace in Afghanistan is also critical for reaping the dividends of regional connectivity that is in line with Pakistan's renewed focus on geoeconomics and economic security. Continued constructive engagement of the international community with Afghanistan is crucial for addressing the immediate humanitarian needs, ensuring economic stability and durable peace. We note the recent international engagements with Afghanistan as positive steps. On its part, Pakistan stands with the people of Afghanistan. We are continuing our humanitarian assistance, and over 900 Afghan students enrolled in Pakistan are also being facilitated to travel to Pakistan to resume their studies. Talking about our focus on geoeconomics, you would have followed the overwhelming response to the Pakistan Pavilion in Dubai Expo 2020, which is a wonderful projection of soft image and rich cultural heritage of Pakistan. President Arif Alvi visited UAE to inaugurate the Pakistan Pavilion. The President also met Sheikh Mohammed, Vice President and Prime Minister of the UAE, attended the launch event of Roshan Apna Ghar in the UAE, an investment conference organized by Pakistan Special Technology Zones Authority, besides interacting with media and also the Pakistani community. The visit was instrumental in refreshing leadership level contacts with the UAE, and promotion of trade and investment and focus on tourism and technology were amongst the major goals of the visit. Pakistan's focus on geoeconomics was also underlined by the Foreign Minister at the 6th ministerial meeting of the Conference on Interaction and Confidence Building Mayors in Asia, SICA, through a video statement. The Foreign Minister emphasized the importance of forging development partnerships and enhancing regional connectivity, and highlighted the need to bring the Asian continent at par with other more integrated regions of the world. The Foreign Minister also delivered a video statement at the high-level commemorative meeting to mark the 60th anniversary of the Non-Aligned Movement, wherein he shared Pakistan's perspective on contemporary global issues and the need for collective response. Both in NAM and at SICA, the Foreign Minister also raised the Jammu and Kashmir dispute. Let me also recall that as Pakistan is celebrating 70 years of diplomatic relations with a number of countries this year, including China, Spain, Argentina, Thailand, and Germany, and a number of events are being organized. You would have followed the logo launch ceremony of Pakistan-Thailand diplomatic relations, and yesterday evening we had a big gala reception in connection with Pakistan and German diplomatic relations. With this, I would like to conclude, and I'm ready to have